It's Scott Simmons of the ArtBeatRadioShow.com, and I'm with Heather. How are you tonight, Heather?
I'm doing really well, thank you.
So it's a busy night here at Gallery 8. There's tons of people in the gallery, and we're looking at your piece.
Thank you, yes. This piece is called Whimsy.
So how is it made? Can you describe it?
Yes, I start with a solid core, which is a fiber rush. So it's a condensed, tightly rolled paper. And I start by thinning it down to a fine point, wrapping and stitching and making a little coil. And then I lay in the different colored threads.
As you go out?
Yeah, as I go and as I'm wanting to make the pattern and change the pattern and so on.
So this must be like an ancient form of art. Like they've been doing this forever, have they?
Oh yes, this is done in all different parts of the world, and it's been done for, since before they were recording history, yeah.
So you went to Africa, you were saying, and did some there?
Yes, I was invited to go and weave with rural weavers in Swaziland, and so I said yes, of course, and to practice so that I wouldn't go completely green, I practiced with the wax linen thread and the fiber rush, making practice shaping and patterns and so on.
That's amazing. How long were you there for?
Well, my daughter and I were in Africa in a few different countries for 3 months, but I was only working with the weavers was 4 days in a remote village with nobody spoke English, but we did have a translator there who had failed English, but she did pretty good as far as I know.
Wow! But you had weaving as your language.
That's right, and lots of sort of universal sign language. And
it was not on not on a weaving machine. This is by hand.
All baskets are made by hand. There's no machine that ever can make baskets. So we sat around on the dirt floor of a stone hut with a thatched roof, and it only had an open door and one little window for light. And I wove the most crooked little basket with a straw. Yeah, it had straw, and it was the weaving material was lutinzi grass. It was dyed, and we had needles that were made from broken umbrellas. And I looked all over for those needles, and it wasn't until I went to Lesotho and they were using the same needles in Lesotho that they had been using in Swaziland. And I said, I've been looking for those needles. Where do you get them? And she said, broken umbrella. And so they take they take a piece of the umbrella.
You have to get.
I found a broken umbrella. And I was by a gas station, so I was able to borrow a pair of pliers, but most of them don't have pliers, and take off the pieces. And then she said they just sharpen them on stone or cement. And it was surprisingly quick how they sharpened, yes.
So now there's a basket weaving guild on Salt Spring Island, you were saying?
Yes, the Basketry Guild here is alive and well, and I know the numbers change from year to year, but it's around 80.
That's amazing that there's 80 people doing this, keeping the craft fully going on Salt Spring Island.
Oh, and there are so many different techniques and materials one can use, so it's really exciting. This is one technique and materials that can be used, but it's limitless. It's just limitless. If it's pliable, you can weave with it. What's that?
You got to get the things to weave it with.
That's right. Yeah, that you can gather materials here from the woodlands and the lakes and so on, wetlands. And then there's a place on Salt Spring called Pacific Basketry on Mount Erskine Road, and she sells basketry supplies.
Who would know?
Yeah, it's a wonderful store.
Well, all the little things you find out about Salt Spring you never know.
Yeah. Well, there you go, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Heather. Have yourself a wonderful night at the opening here at Gallery 8. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.